Times 33. What's up YouTube, my name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. It's Saturday, and there's some stuff I really want to get onto with ASBO and stuff, but I've got some bits and pieces that I need to make. I need to make one of these. You probably can't see it. I need to make one of them for Glenn Thistlethwaite. He's a fella who got in touch. And I need to make one of these, but that size, for Jack. So I need to spend a little bit of time on Chuck. And I mean, I'm hoping it's not going to take me very long. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, kettle's on, I've got a brew. So that's all good. I'm going to get these done. And then the idea is I need to spin the bike about. I need to have that exhaust off. And I need to start coming up with ideas for a replacement exhaust, which I think I know. And I think I know I'm going to do it. And I'm probably going to be using that can because it's here and it's basically brand new. And it fits quite nicely as well. But we'll have to wait and see. There are going to be some bits and pieces that I need to get for it, like mandrel bends and all that sort of stuff, but I just need to figure out what's needed. So, that's what I'm doing today. We'll see how far we get and what else we can get done, if anything, because I know I'm going to get interrupted. Right then. Right, so one down, one to go. I'm getting some quite good finishes now. This is it. Do the focus thing. There you go. So I'm getting quite good finishes now. Sort of inside and out. Hopefully, as you can see. I don't know. But yeah, it's come out spot on dimension and whatnot. So as long as he gives me right measurements, this should do the do. So Glenn, it's all done. I'll send it off to you today. I don't know when you're going to get it because post is still being a bit, you know, a bit daft. But yeah, that'll be going off today. So, let's just do him up before I forget. Sorted. Right, the day is getting away from me again because I've just had interruption after interruption. Oh yeah, I had to cut out his label. I can't find my scissors, so I'm on these now. I'm losing everything. Interruption after interruption after interruption. Pete's been round, he had a problem with his van, so we've had that all jacked up and welding the under tray and all that sort of stuff. I've had Jack in, he's been borrowing the ultrasonic. I've had Kirby, he rocked up. He had a problem with his bike, so we sorted that out and put another chain on it. You know, it's like, I've got all the tools and stuff in here, so then people just rock up and that. But anyway, I'm loving all this machining stuff as well, and it is, I do use it as a little bit of an excuse to get a bit, you know, nerdy with everything. I just like it when it all comes down on dimension. So I've been mucking about with all this lot. It just gives you a chance to, you know, it's all practice, isn't it? So like using telescoping bore gauges and micrometers and stuff like that. It's all cool. I'm loving it. These I do find quite hard to, because you got to kind of, I've got big hands, right? I have got big hands. But to hold something and work all this lot as well, sometimes I find it a little bit awkward. Smaller ones is the doddle. Bigger ones, not so much. So I might end up making like a little stand that holds that at some point. I could always stick it in the vise, but it would be nice if it was over at an angle. But anyway, so I've got one more thing to do on the lathe. That's for Jack. And then we're starting on the bike, eventually. But I'm going to have to leave at sort of 4:30 as normal anyway, because Sam's gone and bought a cooker. About 8 years ago-ish, something like that, we bought a lovely new cooker for the kitchen. And about a week after we had it, I might have set it on fire. I was doing something in the grill and there's loads of fat in the pan and it all caught on fire. So all these flames was coming out the front of it. And like up where the knobs are, so all the knobs melted. So for 8 years, we've been like putting up with a cooker with like dodgy knobs and stuff. So she's got another one that I've got to go and collect. The only trouble is it's an induction cooker. So none of the pots and pans are going to work. So we'll probably be out shopping for pots and pans later anyway. Right, let me put this lot away. We do the thing for Jack. Ooh, hello, come back. And then we can crack on with the bike. Right. Right, Jack's happy with them. Ideal, because he can be a fussy bugger sometimes. Right, I need to give Chuck a quick spritz up and stuff, it won't take me long. Then we're going to turn the bike around and start getting our head around the exhaust. I need to figure out quite how I'm going to do it and get some stuff ordered. I eat cold coffee. Right, let's tidy up. like this exhaust. It's just a shame it's noisy. Right, that exhaust is going to be going with the bike. It's up to the new owner which one they use. But I'm looking at this. This is basically new. I'm going to get another one because it's got a couple of little marks on it and stuff like that. And I want to try and get a carbon one. I think this is just, you know, it wants to be carbon, but it ain't. Someone was saying, well, there's quite a few people saying go for a carbon can because they tend to be quieter. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But if I get a carbon one, it's definitely going to be lighter than a metal one. This doesn't weigh much at all. However, I've been looking at this for the past hour and 15 minutes, trying to sort some stuff out. And I'm very limited actually. So, one idea I had was, so you're chatting with Crispy, he was saying the longer the pipe you have and the more wadding you have on the end of it, then just the more it's going to shut it up, basically. So, I was thinking about 2 high level cans, like up under the seat, up here. So one that side, one that side. And I thought that could look really, really good. Plus it gives me loads of extra sound deadening stuff on the inside of the cans. And there's twice as many. So that should properly shut it up. However, that is roughly where I would want it to be. Just so it's in keeping with the rest of the bike, really. So it comes out just past the end of the hoop. We'd have a number board thingy that sticks out here, you know, with the number plate on it. So it would all sort of be in keeping. The only trouble is, how do you join that bit to that bit? How do you do it? On the blade that I had, the exhaust went down behind the footrest hanger. Well, there's maybe, I don't know, 1.25 inches, something like that. Well, it needs to be bigger than 1.25 inches. I can't go down here because there's no room. I can't go through the swing arm, not unless I lose the rear shock, which, you know, you kind of need that. But I don't want to do the whole sideways shock, and I don't want to mount it differently up here or anything else, because that's how it was designed. That's how it's supposed to be. So coming inboard of the frame is not an option. We've got to come outboard. So in order to do that, it gets very horrible very quick, because you'd have to have a bend in it that comes down here, around the back of the footrest hanger, under the footrest hanger and down to the collector, which I think would look poo. I think it'd look horrible. Because the line of it wouldn't match up with anything. Plus it's going to take your eye, isn't it? So I think high level cans is out. It would be lovely if I could have exhaust tubes coming down here and then straight down the back and straight into there. But that's just not happening. That is, no way is that workable. So we're probably looking lower level. The simplest option and the neatest option is something like that, I think. Maybe tilt it up a bit just so it sort of follows this line, or tilt it down so it follows that line. Don't really know. I mean, that would make it lower level, wouldn't it? I don't know. You can chip in on that one. Should I follow the line down to the engine or the line of the seat? Drop your comments in. Let me know. But let's say we go... Excuse me. Let's say we go like that. The reason I want to go for a carbon can is, at the minute, you would ordinarily have a strap. Where is he? Hang on. See, I've got everything bagged up just to protect it, and I've still got a dink out my can. So you would have this strap, which ordinarily would go around the can, and he would fix onto some sort of bracket that goes up to the frame. The thing is, if he's all the way down here, look, I mean, that's a really long bracket. So I ain't doing that. But if I can keep the weight of the can down, then basically I can come off the back of the footrest hanger and I can weld something on the leading shoulder of it. So we'd have to have like a triangulated brackety jobby thing here. So it's not just two-dimensional, you know, it's got 3 dimensions to it to give it a bit of stiffness and strength. We'd have to come off the back here and up to the back of the footrest hanger and keep it as close to as possible. So he would literally be going like that. Literally like that. And then a link pipe that comes up from the collector down here. We'll keep it as close to as we can, but follow a sensible angle. Tip it out so it misses the lower suspension linkage and straighten the bottom of this. That's what I think I'm going to be doing. It means I could put a longer can on, but I don't really want to, again, because it's going to be held at this end. So you don't want anything flopping about, do you? Even if I have got like quite a sturdy bracket down here, I can't have it flopping about, and I need it to be lightweight. So we is definitely talking carbon, you know, quite a stubby thing, which tend not to be the quietest. So we'll probably end up shoving a packed out DB killer down the end of it just for the MSVA test. But then we can always have that out afterwards and see what it sounds like. But that's what I'm thinking. Bloody hour and a quarter to come up with that. I reckon it'll look all right though. I mean, again, it's quite sort of compact. You know, it's all tucked in, it's nice and neat. We've got a little bit of clearance down the back, so I've got my fingers down there. So it ain't going to interfere with the swing arm at all. You've got room for your foot up here without clobbering anything. The bracket will all be hidden. But again, if I can have it down here like that, then it gives me, you know, a fair amount of space to get a decent bracket on it. And you'll just have a can sticking out like that. I don't know, what do you think? As far as hooking it up to the collector goes, this is the connecting bit, jobby, whatever, I don't know what you call it, that goes onto the link pipe. So the link pipe that I've got here, which goes to that can, I think is 51, if memory serves. Yeah, 51 OD. That tube, I think, I can't remember what, I think the other one was 64, something like that. Anyway, so this does fit on there, like that, okay? We wouldn't be using that end, we'd be turning it around and using this end with the spring hooks on it, just because I think it's going to be nicer and neater. So I could chop this off. 51, I think, is going to go inside that narrow bit, and then I can TIG weld that up. So that'll all be one piece, and I can pretty much send this wherever I want then. So he's going to go on like that. We'll have obviously some sort of a bend in it to come up here. 51mm link pipe, which is what this is. So obviously it's going to go like that. Imagine this chopped off there. Bit of a bend to it, and then the can sort of in there. So that's the sort of line that you're talking about having, I think, something like that. So realistically, I mean, if we keep it as, I don't know, do I want it straight? Probably. No, that's sort of, I'll probably be able to reuse this actually. And then I'll just need a bend to send it more that way, because this is quite sort of out there at the minute. So we would need to get a mandrel bend, 51mm. And then he would go into there. Is it that end or is it that end? No, it is that end. Yeah, 51, because it flares out here, look. So that could be a handy bit to have as well, just depending on what the diameter of that middle bit there is. It's a shame it got marked up. It is new. It's done like 150 miles and then sat on a shelf. But I reckon that's what I'm going to be doing. We'll have to have a clamp around here. Or would we need a clamp around there? We could probably have that off, TIG it to that, dress it up so it looks nice, and just have this and the link pipe as one piece. Because that would then be structural, so I could hide the bracket more down the back here. Now I think I'm going to be chopping that off, and I'm going to be TIGging onto it, because I can shove it inside as well, so we get like quite the overlap. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, that could work actually, because I could open these slits up actually, and I could TIG down into it where the tube goes into it, and then come around this edge as well. That would make it strong as anything. And then I could have my bracket that comes off that with a lightweight carbon can, and I reckon we're in. Right, that's what I'm doing. Right, and that's the plan. That's the plan. If you got a preference on should it be low or like that, I'm going to go with like that, I think. Don't bother putting anything in the comments. That's what I'm going with, just because it makes that bottom bit a little bit easier. I think I've got another piece of 51mm tube down there, which would be dead handy. So looking at it, all I need is a 45 degree, I think. I might get a 90, just because that way I know I've got enough and it gives me another go if I cock it up. So I'll get a 90 degree mandrel bend sorted. I'm also going to be getting another one of these. If you look at this, I'm not using this just because it's been sat on the shelf and I've not been kind to it. So I think I'm not sure if it's all stainless or if the middle bit is alley or something, but I think it's metal. But if you look there, it's got like a carbon fibre sticker on it basically. It's been rubbed off there. It's got a little nick in it there. I don't know, can you see where my thumb is? And where the band went round it to support it, it's got like a little rub mark on it, so I'm not using that. This could end up going on the S-Rad, or I don't know, whatever. But I'm not using that one. If I get a carbon one, it'll be lighter, so I need to have a look and see if I can't find one. So plan is, I'll get those ordered. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to build the exhaust. It shouldn't take me too long, because there's only a couple of bends to it and I'm very limited in where I can put stuff, so it should be way easier than that other one is what I'm saying, because I haven't got to sort out every single curve, and there's quite a few in that. There's only a couple on this. Then we're going to get it all built up, pod filters back on. I am going to get a set of 110 jets ordered as well, just in case, because then it gives us options of 110, 114, 116, 120 and 124. But I haven't got anything leaner, so I'm going to get some ordered anyway, just because that way when we do go back to the dyno for Dyno Day Part 4, we'll have a selection of jets we can try. We know all about the other exhaust anyway, but everything's going to change just because we've got a different diameter link pipe and a different baffle on the end. We could have to start changing jets and things around. There was some fella who proper got his knickers in a twist in the comments. I told you should have used this kit, not the Dynojet kit. It works a treat, blah, 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 blah. I run a forum of 8,000 and everything else. I know what I'm talking about. And then he says, you can get 103 brake horsepower at the rear wheel. No, you can't. That's rubbish, I'm sorry. That is complete junk. This is a 97 Mark 1 Bandit. It's not a sports engine. It's not a highly stressed, highly tuned bit of kit, right? There's no way you're going to get 103 horsepower at the rear wheel. When I was racing, we stepped up to an R6, which, I mean, that's what all the really quick boys had in super sports, so that's what we had. And that had been like, I mean, I think that was up to like 100, something like that. But that was with a full system, having been dynoed, and like free flow air filters, and Spike had worked his magic and everything else. I think we'd had the head skimmed and all that sort of stuff. So that was like a proper sports bike engine. I think, I want to say 105 it made, something like that. But that had been seriously tuned up. So getting 103 out of a Mark 1 Bandit, I'm sorry, but You've either got a very optimistic dyno man, or the correction factor you're using is huge. They reckon it's between a 10 and 15% loss from the crank to the back wheel, but I'm only going by what the back wheel says. So, you know, for me with all this tuning, we're not going to go potty with it. All I want is an exhaust which is quieter than that one, that looks the part on the bike in case the new owner wants to keep it, because they don't like the noisy boy, because he is quite noisy. But it's got to be a really nice smooth power curve, and the fueling's got to be right as well. Crispy was going on about people just tuning it just to get the absolute maximum peak power that they can get. And they don't even bother looking at the AFR. So it's got to be tuned right, because riding these bikes, you're not pinned absolutely everywhere. If you live in town, how many times going through town are you going through all the gears on red line? You just ain't. This bike currently is lean where I think you spend most time. So between 4 and 7k ish. I think it redlines at 10.5, something like that. But that 4 to 7 bit, it's leaner than I would like. So I want to sort the fueling out so we can keep that power curve all nice and smooth, which makes it rideable. But it's a safe tune for the engine as well. Don't really give a monkeys about peak power, and even if I did, it wouldn't be 103. So other stuff that's coming up, I'll get all this lot ordered. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to build it. Other stuff that's coming up is, I know what I'm doing with the number plate mount. We're going to have a standout jobby with the indicators on the side and a light and a thing to put your board on. I do want to make it out of alley, so I need to get some of that ordered as well. But that's going to be reasonably straightforward. And then we've still got the seat hump. Seat hump, let me go and get it. Hang on. Right, so seat hump. I'm loving this shape and the way it all necks in and everything else. However, this is the bit here that I've got some troubles with. That bit needs to be dead straight, as does the back bit, but here there needs to be quite a curve to it. So, I'm cutting it up. This is now a sacrificial piece. Well, maybe. There was a fellow that was going on, if you rolled the edges, maybe it'd pull it in. And it got me thinking, like, if I was to put a flange down, so cut it here, and then from there to there, put a flange into it, I've got a shrink a stretcher underneath the bench, that if I shrink and stretch this bit in certain places, then I can put a curve into this piece of the metal. So basically I could straighten it out just by using the shrink a stretcher. And I could do the same thing on this leading edge as well. If that's the case and I can get it all straight, all I've got to worry about is this bit here, which I could either plan this out or I could have a go at wheeling, or I don't know, I could do something. So this is gonna, well, I'm gonna give it a go, I think, just because I've never done it before, and it should work. And this is like lovely and symmetrical, you know, from that curve to this one, it all sits a treat, and I love the top of it. So if I can use it, I really do want to. If I can't make it work with that, I'm cutting it up, and I'm cutting it straight across there. And I'll have to try and make the two side pieces separately and then join them together. Again, it's something I've never done. This is only like 1 mil thick. You know, it's not thick at all. But I've been watching a load of Pro Shaper, and he does it. He makes it look quite easy, and it just ain't. Because it just ain't. But I can have a go at chopping it there, making this piece separately, wheeling it, and, you know, doing whatever I need to get the shape I need so it fits on the side quite happy, and then it's a case of joining them back together again. If that doesn't work, and I can't do it, then I'm probably going to have a go at doing it in fiberglass. That would mean making a buck for it, then making a mould for it, then making the seat unit on top of that mould. All of which I've never done. I've never made a buck or a mould or any of that. So I don't know. We just have to give it a go and see what's what. But other than that, you know, there really ain't much. There's a few little brackets and, you know, jobby stuff like that. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. And we's in. I need to give MSVA a shout as well, just to make sure it's okay to present the bike in its not finished form, but structurally, finished, if that makes sense. The under tray is just tacked on at the minute, so I'm not sure if they'd look at it and go, oh, that's a bit dodgy, I'm not passing that. But if I do the explanation as to what's going on with the bike and the state it's in, then I'm hoping we're not too far off being able to put it into the MSVA test and see what the fella says and what we need to change, if anything. There is no point in getting it all painted and presenting it like that, just because he could say, well, you need to chop this bit off, and then I've just trashed a paint job. So that's what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm waffling again, but that's you all up to date. So that's where I'm going to leave it. So thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you're well and staying safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Laters! I've got to go and get a cooker now as well.